This is an extract from the Leader podcast by the Evening Standard, hosted by me, David Marsland. To hear the whole thing, search for us on your podcast provider. In Hackney, in the city, Barking, Dagenham, Barnet, Brent, Kensington, Hammersmith, COVID-19 is on the rise. Cases have doubled in Westminster from 8 to 17. It's still low, but concerning. The World Health Organization's Europe envoy, Dr. David Nabarro, told the Evening Standard the risk of a surge is extremely serious, and yet office workers are being encouraged to return to their desks. Our editorial column says if people don't know if they should stay in or go out, neither does the government.
No Prime Minister in peacetime has taken on such power to dictate the way we live our lives. Confidence in his ability to use it well is not high. He would do well to do so, much more openly, working with others. Unfortunately, that is not how Downing Street is run at the moment. The usual sources are briefing apocalyptic rumours of what might happen if London's low but rising infection rates keep climbing. Travel from the capital beyond the M25 could be banned. Meeting friends and family at home could be prohibited. Londoners hoping for clarity and leadership may be looking to the city's mayor, Sadiq Khan, instead. Unfortunately, they will find only evasiveness and silence. Meanwhile, London tries to reopen, while worrying about what may be coming next.
Our deputy political editor, Nicholas Cecil, interviewed Dr. Nabarro, and he's with me now. Nicholas, we seem to be in a pretty dangerous time.
Yes, well, he says that London is at a critical time in terms of fighting COVID-19. And that might be slightly surprising given that case numbers in the capital are still low. But what he says is that when case numbers are low, it is actually the toughest time to contain the disease because people don't want to keep being disciplined and social distancing. They want to relax and go back and enjoy life. And that allows the cases to pick up.
So this is not the time to let your guard down then, is what he's saying.
Yeah, but certainly in his words, he says it's there's an extremely serious risk of a surge in cases in London. And there's some new figures out this morning which show that in 22 borough areas, the number of confirmed cases, is actually rising. So, for example, if you look at Hackney and the City of London, that area saw 59 new cases in the 7 days to July, which is a rate of 20.5 per 100,000 people. And that's compared to the previous week of 43 cases and a rate of 14.9. If you look further east to Barking and Dagenham, that area saw its number of new cases nearly treble from 11 to 29. And there are 4 areas, Barnet, Brent, Kensington and Chelsea, and Hammersmith and Fulham, which have all seen their infection rates go up to at least 7 per 100,000 population.
So yes, still low, but as you said, doctors are getting a little bit worried about any rise, I suppose. But Dr. Nabarro was quite clear that he's not someone who wants to continue with lockdown, is he?
No. What he's saying is he's just appealing to people not to bend the rules, to stick to the guidance. He says we've got to get used to a new reality where we live with the virus because it's going to be here for many months, probably into next year. So what he's saying is, yes, let's try and get back to work, let's try and socialise, but let's do that in a socially distanced way as much as possible. And certainly, if you look at new cases in London, it's still far less than hotspots in the north of England. For example, Blackburn with Darwin has a infection rate of 79.9. Oldham, there it's 62.8. Bradford, it's 53.4. And in Greater Manchester, there's now a major incident has been declared after a spike in cases.
And in London, the government does appear to have some quite stark plans if the spike continues to rise, doesn't it?
Yes, well, this emerged over the weekend, and Business Minister Nadhim Zahawi was doing a media round this morning, And he did not rule out London being put into lockdown inside the M25 if there's a big spike in cases. This news of this M25 quarantine ring seems to be news to Sadiq Khan. And the Mayor of London, together with the Chairman of London Councils, have written to Boris Johnson asking why they were not involved in a reported critical exercise last week in which a major resurgence in COVID-19 infections happened in the capital. And during this exercise, they were said to have looked at a central scenario of this surge in cases in London and the possibility of the M25 being used as a quarantine ring.